Hello everyone, welcome to this short video about that fast lick of Bossa Dorado, this one. I've gotten many questions either through email or on the forum of the Rosenberg Academy or live during workshops about how to play this and how to play this as clean as Stochelo Rosenberg does in the famous recording of Bossa Dorado. And I want to talk a little bit about it. And I want to talk a little bit about gypsy jazz picking and the rest stroke and all the concepts we can apply when practicing this lick. So first I'm going to show you my way, because my way actually does not involve any double down strokes. And if you do double down strokes, you need to learn another technique. So we're going to talk about that later. First, my way only uses alternate picking. If you look at the tab, it's all alternate. So you think, oh, that's easy, but then it's still pretty difficult to play all the notes clean. And that's because, well, first of all, it's triplets, but also because you have to change positions 3 times, I think. 1, 2, 3, or 4 times. And the difficult thing is, if it's not completely or perfectly coordinated with your right hand, the notes will not sound clean. I can tell you how many people I've heard play this the Bossa Dorado theme and everything sounds great, but then they come to this lick, you know, and maybe they're nervous and they choke, and then you only hear like... I did it too. So I'm going to show you how to practice this. So the way to practice it, because you don't have to do any double down stroke, is focus on the left hand and notice where your hand changes from a closed position to a wide position. So for me, a closed position is when you have 1 finger per fret. You know, like for example, on the 5th fret, then I would have 5, 6, 7, 8, every finger on the fret. And in wide position or open position, I would have a fret between my 1st and 2nd finger. So then my fingers would be on 5, 7, 8, 9. And usually we don't use the pinky in wide position, so it's more 5, 7, 8. So in this lick, you go to open position on the 2nd position change. Look, still closed, but now we go to open. So I look at this lick in 3 blocks. This is the first block. Second one, still closed. Third one, go to open. So I would practice it in these blocks. I would practice... And immediately my hand assumes this wide position. So I go from closed, wide, so I would practice it like that. Just stop before every position change. You could even stop before the first one. And notice. So, and then the second step would be for me to notice what the pick stroke is on the position change. So the first one, it's down. And then it's up. And then up again when I go to wide position. So I would practice the lick again slowly, stop before the position change, and maybe say out loud, or at least notice the pick stroke. Down, up, up. Down, up, down, up, up. Of course, it will take some time, but if you practice it like this in the beginning, so don't use a metronome at first. Just make sure you can synchronize your hands on the position change by noticing which way you're picking and if your hand is in a closed or wide position. So again, down and closed, up and closed. Up and wide. And then I would go to a metronome and start working to play the lick in time, so no breaks. But still making these mental, well, what should I call them? Like mental notes, like, okay, closed, closed, closed down, closed up, closed up. You could say something like that, like closed down, closed up, wide up. And if you do this slowly enough and really focus, at one point it will go automatic. And then if you have another lick which uses the same principles, you will see that your hands will synchronize automatically. That's a great thing. Okay, so that's my way. Now let's look at Stochelo's way, because Stochelo plays this lick with all downstrokes. Except for the second note, the D sharp, it's up, but the rest is down, like this. So when you see this in the tab, it looks completely ridiculous. Who's gonna play all downstrokes? But that's because Stochelo really mastered the double downstroke. And if you've watched my previous video on rest stroke picking technique, which is linked under this video, you can see me explain the concept of the half rest stroke and the full rest stroke in detail. But very quickly, if you do double downstrokes or even more consecutive downstrokes, only the last one is a full rest stroke. Only the last one is a note picked after which you rest the pick on the next string like this. Now I pick the A string, but I rest my pick on the D string. But if I do two E's, both down, then the first one would not touch the next string. It would be the same motion, the same rotation of my arm, but I would immediately lift the pick up after hitting the string, so it wouldn't touch the next string. And then the second note would actually be a full rest stroke like this. If I do three, the first two would be half rest strokes. Now, and the term half rest stroke is just something I came up with on the fly in that other video, but it's a good term. It conveys exactly what it is supposed to be. You're making the same motion as the rest stroke, but you're not finishing it. You're doing it halfway. So watch that video for a complete explanation and exercises. So, but Stochelo really perfected this technique of consecutive downstrokes by using all half rest strokes and then do a full rest stroke on the last one. So if you would play this lick with Stochelo's technique, it would be the same thing, you know, the close position to wide position, but for him it would be all down. But then it would be full, half, full, half, full, full. Of course, when you sweep, it's all full. For the half rest strokes, I'm gonna lift my hand so you can see what I'm gonna exaggerate the motion. So when I lift my hand, the note before were all half rest strokes. And that lifting of the hand is something that Stochelo actually does. Because he has his fingers on these two fingers on the guitar always. But when he does a half rest stroke to play another downstroke after it, he lifts his fingers. And when you put a microphone there, you would actually hear. I will exaggerate it. It's very difficult to do this, and because I also accent the note then, but it sounds like. And I can do it. The first 2 years I started playing guitar when I was only influenced by Stochelo. I actually played the same way he did, you know, only downstrokes. So I know how to do it. But in the end, I found it easier to use alternate picking when possible. So I still do downstrokes only when changing strings, but when I can play alternate on one string, I will do it. For Stochelo, it's just much easier for him to play double downstrokes and actually play an upstroke on a string and then change strings with a downstroke. He finds that motion, although he can do it, he finds that motion more difficult than playing double downstrokes. So it's your choice of what you want to do. You can perfect Stochelo's technique, and the advantage is that it's very consistent because everything will be like that then. You know, there will be so many downstrokes, you will never have to think about your pick strokes again. You can do all downstrokes when you change strings. But if you find it very difficult, and most people find it very difficult, then I'd say go for alternate picking when possible. Except for when you change strings, then you should maybe do a downstroke for the sound. And also it just fits the Gypsy Jazz way of playing. But then for those passages only, and won't be that many, you should perfect your technique of the half rest stroke. Okay, I hope you make some progress with this lick. And if you want to practice it, I made a backing track for you guys. And that's also linked under this video. It's not too fast, and you can You can play the whole song Bossa Dorado, but you can practice this lick especially. Okay, I think I'm gonna make more of these videos looking at some difficult things and how to practice them. And I hope to see you in the next one. And also, I always forget it, but this time I won't. If you like the videos, or if you like this video, please give it a like and subscribe, because the subscriptions is what keeps me going. Okay, thank you. Bye.